My text positioned, I'm happy with where it is. I'm going to set up some animation of the transparency of the Galaxy text so that it reveals and kind of draws on as the phone goes past it. So I'm going to go to my Galaxy text layer. I'm going to open it up. There's a little triangle next to the name just off to the left. When I click on that, it opens up the attributes for this layer. What I'm looking for is a little label that says Animate, and it has a triangle next to it. So when you create text in After Effects, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can animate with text. Those functions aren't there by default. You have to tell After Effects which things you want to animate. And what I want to do, if I click on that little triangle, is I want to animate the opacity of that text. I'm going to make it draw on and reveal itself as the phone goes past. Okay, so once you hit animate and the opacity, you'll get a whole bunch of extra options that appear underneath the Galaxy layer. What I want to do for a start, and this might seem a bit odd, is I want to set the opacity to 0. There's an opacity setting, it's underneath something called a range selector and an animator. I'm going to set that opacity to 0. The next thing I want to do is open up the range selector by clicking on the triangle, and this is where we actually create the draw on or the write on effect. If you go to the start percentage value and click and drag on it from left to right, you should see that as you drag from side to side, the text draws on or draws off from the screen. So that opacity function that we just set to 0, that's like a master control that just makes the text visible. We don't want to use that. We want to use this range selector, which is basically saying make a certain range of the text visible. So what we're going to do is we're going to animate this value, the start value, so that that Galaxy text draws on as the phone goes past. So set that start value to 0, and then what you want to do is scrub in your timeline until you can see the phone has just gone past the start of your text block. And once it's done that, I'm going to turn on the keyframe for that range selector start. Then I'm going to scrub a little bit further along on my timeline until the phone has gone all the way across the text, and I'm going to turn that start percentage up to 100, and hopefully it'll kind of look like as the phone goes past, it's revealing that text. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, if your timing's not quite right, all you need to do is go through and change the position of those keyframes so they either happen a little earlier or a little later. And you'll get that effect that the phone is revealing the text.